really am excited to introduce you to my pal, Bill Roark.
Let's get this party started here. First off, I'm not here to sell you anything. I don't have a book, nothing. Just, I'm going to tell the story. Okay? It's a personal story. When Nichols Research, I went to work for Nichols Research in 1985. I think it was 85, 86. A long time ago. I started there as an entry-level scientist. And I worked my way quickly up the system and grow through the management chain and quickly got to a point where I was in a position where I could be able to offer people some incentives if they would grow the company. I'd be able to offer bonuses, stock options, be able to write down a plan and say, if you can meet this plan, I can make these things happen for you. That motivates people, and it drives them to perform, and it was a great place to be. 1997, the CEO leaves his office and comes to my office, tells me, you've got 5 people that we're training to be either the CEO or the president, and you're on that list of 5. But we need you to move to Washington, D.C. to get the experience you need to round out to be a candidate. So I loaded up my family. We took off to D.C. That was the 5th time that I'd moved cross-country for that company. Just a few months later, I was promoted up to be president of an operating segment, so things were going very well. And now I've got a sizable organization. There's 5 operating segments in the company, and I move forward thinking things are just absolutely perfect. Company misses quarterly numbers. We're publicly traded. The stock falls to less than half its value, and then just a few months later, we're acquired. It was a good company that acquired us. I have nothing negative to say about them at all. Wonderful company. But things changed. The day it closed, things changed. My ability to honor those commitments I'd made to those employees was gone. I couldn't make those commitments anymore. I did not have the power in the company to be able to move forward with that. In just a few months, it became clear that I was probably not going to be a long-term employee there. Then, if you just close your eyes for a moment and think about it, here I've been just on the verge of being president and CEO of this company, and now it's Friday midday, and I've just been walked to the street corner. I have a nice check, and they tell me, we'll mail your stuff to your house. I didn't plan for that. My next job, I went on to another company that was employee-owned. It was a wonderful concept, and as I looked at it, I became more and more enamored with it. It was a really good concept, but I didn't fit. I just didn't fit there, and so just shortly I moved on. This is during the internet craze, so I decided, why not join the internet craze and join an internet startup? It was going good until 911, and then things began to collapse. We couldn't raise money anymore. No one was interested in investing in internet companies. And I decided it was time to go back to do what I knew how to do, back to the defense business, which is where we were at Nichols Research. In October, I reached out to some past business acquaintances as that company began to fail. And shortly thereafter, Don Holder and I started Torch Technologies. We started out from the beginning with a basic business model that Nichols had, the company that I worked for, the defense contractor, and that was a good working business model. It worked for them for nearly 30 years. So we knew that model worked, but we wanted to do some things differently. We wanted to commit to be employee-owned from the beginning. When we opened the company, we wanted to be an employee-owned company. This little stint that I've had with the other company convinced me that's where we needed to be. So we set out to look at being an employee-owned company. started to look at what it takes to be an ESOP. What are the requirements and what do you have to do? And I ran across a book. We had already been sharing ownership. We'd already been telling people everyone has a stake in the outcome, and then I ran across a book, A Stake in the Outcome, written by Jack Stack. That book just spoke to us. It was telling us about what we wanted to do, how we wanted to do business, and how we wanted to be. And so it was very influential in the early parts of the company. We wrote down this commitment to our employees on a napkin in a restaurant just before we started the company. That commitment's still used in our training slides today. I'm not going to read this to you, but I will show you that in the very first, before we started the company, we committed to employee ownership. So we're never anything other than an employee-owned company. Everyone who came in, including the secretarial staff, everyone got an ownership stake. We committed to be an ESOP. We looked at the expenses. We committed to be an ESOP when we were 50 employees because there's expenses associated with that. We looked at our business structure, and that's where that looked like it belonged. So then we rolled out the ESOP at the point we reached 50 employees. And we made commitments to the employees to be an ESOP. As we looked through that book, A Stake in the Outcome, we began to understand the open book management concept. So we added to that and added that we were going to be an open book management company as I shared that book with Don and some of the other senior people that were coming into the company. The benefits of this commitment were obvious right out of the box. Everybody had a stake in the outcome. Everybody was committed to seeing the company successful, and it took off. I mean, it took off really, really quickly. As he said, we made the Inc. 5000 the first year we were available to be on the list. A typical bid win rate, for instance, in our company, in our business is 35%. If you're really good, you might get 40 or 50%. Our bid win rate the last 2 years has been 80%. Our employee turnover is less than half of the average. So something is working about this open book management and this employee ownership concept. Remember, everyone has a stake in the outcome. Jack wrote it down first, so he gets to claim it. How'd this work for us? This is how it worked for us. The first year we were in business, we did $3 million in revenue. This year we'll close the books on the north side of $500 million. This is the growth of our employee count. 2011, at the end of 2011, 2012 is when we converted to 100% employee owned. Do you see a change in slope? Now, what's more interesting about that is in 2009, we spun out another company that was now a 400-person company that would be on top of that. Forbes picked us as one of the 25 best companies in the Small Giants list. We were on the first list that they generated. It's something that we were extremely proud of. The criteria for being selected for that is something that was very near and dear to our heart. We're number 2 in the nation last year in our category in the small and medium workplaces, the best places to work. We've been slowly moving up the list. I think we were number 6 the year before. We're moving up 2 or 3. Hopefully we'll make number 1 sometime in the future. We're in the top 100, number 59, 13 years in a row on the Inc. 5000. One of 10 companies to achieve that feat. One of 10 companies ever to achieve that feat. There are companies that have been on 13 or 14, but not consecutively. In the 17 years we've been in business, quarter over quarter, we've never had a down quarter. But what I want to talk to you about that I'm most proud about the company is that we make a difference in our community. When we rolled out the ESOP, the employees rolled out an organization they call Torch Helps. Torch Helps is funded by employee payroll deductions. The employees came up with this concept. They wanted to do it. They don't want any company money in it. It's all totally payroll deductions. They run it themselves. Incredible ground for training management because they're all volunteer. There's management positions. They, being engineers, created a form that you have to fill out with all kinds of check boxes and all kinds of scoring criteria, and then the organizations that get through the screening process, the employees then vote on them, and everyone has a stake in the outcome here because everybody gets one vote if you donate. Boy Scouts, one of the first things we did, there was a news story that the Boy Scouts lost their trailer. Someone stole their trailer and all their camping supplies. We had the Boy Scouts over to help us at our open house. We decided they would have a service project. They came dressed up in their uniforms thinking they're going to help us by doing crowd control. Now, come on, we're an employee company of about 75 or 80 people. So people showing up for our open house are not going to, and we're in a building that's mostly empty, so the parking lot's empty. Not going to be a parking problem here, not going to be a crowd control problem. But we're training them on how to do crowd control. Someone pulls the trailer around, they bring them down to do the crowd control, and then we give them the trailer. They are trying to figure out why someone who doesn't know them would give them a trailer. Okay? Just our guys, when they saw on Crime Stoppers that it had been stolen, they felt like they needed to do something. Got the trailer and all the supplies and gave it to them. Not a dry eye in the house. Now, 17 years later, it still puts a frog in my throat to think about it, but the story don't end there. Those scouts, when Katrina happened a few months later, loaded that trailer up and went down to the Gulf Coast and gave their camping supplies to another troop that lost everything. They sent us a letter and shared that with us. And then a few months later, the Better Business Bureau holds this competition every year, and I assume it happens all over the U.S., where they award the Torch Award for companies that have done something outstanding. Our local chapter gives a scholarship out to a student based on an essay. We've been not invited to attend this award. We're sitting there, and I see the winning student with the winning essay is one of the scouts. We're all proud. This is one of our kids, right? We've adopted them. Then they're going through the winning companies, and they're reading out about the winning company, and they're reading from the scout's essay. And I still get choked up. They were reading about us. The scout had written about us. Something we did to do something good had suddenly come full circle back to us. What a powerful story. So one of the things you can do this changed the culture. The day it happened changed the culture in our company. And it just keeps on giving and keep on giving. And we've got story after story I can tell you like this. I was driving into work about a year ago. On the radio it says, local high school band trailer been stolen. They played us a concert in the parking lot. It was priceless. Once again, you got parents standing there crying, you got kids in the band crying, and you got me crying again. This personal story is not ended, though. I stepped down at the end of this past year as the CEO, but I'm still there, and we've started a holding company much like SRC did, and started to expand out into some other business areas, and that's where I'm focusing at this point. But I will share with you that being open book and being employee-owned are both necessary. Just being employee-owned is not enough. You need to be talking to the employees and sharing with them. By doing this, we provided our employees the pride and the tools to make positive change in our community, and it's been awesome. That aspect of it has just been incredible. We've also provided our employees the ability to retire early. if they want to go support a missionary duty, if they want to take care of an aging parent, if they just want to enjoy the fact that they can go get an RV and tour the country, it's there for them. It's a beautiful thing to watch somebody come in ahead of schedule and say, I'm at the point where I can retire and I can go do what I want to do. Our story's not ended. We'll keep doing this. It feels so good to change people's lives, both in the company and outside the company, and I'm very proud of what Torch has accomplished. Thank you.